Good morning. Excuse me. My name is Chip Taylor, and I'm coming to you from Zalisi, Ukraine. We have a small organic farm here where we grow ingredients for Mexican food. A lot of peppers, some special tomatoes, Hopi blue corn, and green Oaxacan corn, and a few other things that we use in order to create Mexican food, and then we sell some of these ingredients. All of this is to fund a free alcohol and drug treatment center that we have here. And there's a few things that I talk to people about when it comes to farming and entrepreneurship, how to actually make a living. And that's what I wanted to talk to you about this morning. Is not so much about Mexican food or peppers or regenerative agriculture or organic farming, but I wanted to talk to you about the I got a bird in my greenhouse, which is fine. They come in and out all the time, and that's part of living in harmony with what goes on around me. I'm just wondering whether this bird's going to poopy on my head. All right, but the entrepreneurship. Um, there's been a few times in my life where I did not know what I was going to do economically or how I was going to do it. And so I came up with a system, and I don't think this is original, but I do not remember where it came from. But I sit down and I look at what I have, and what I do is I actually physically make a list of items. These are my physical assets. This is what I have available to me physically. These are my skills. Another list of skills, things that I actually know how to do, not necessarily marketable skills, but just things that I know how to do. And then I look at a list of what I want to do using these other two lists. When it comes to physical assets, I've got right now, I've got a piece of land, I've got this greenhouse, I've got a few other hand tools, I've got a couple of mechanical tools. There's some stuff that we've accumulated in the last 5 years that makes it a little bit more um, feasible to have a market garden, not necessarily for Mexican food, but to have a market garden. But when we first came here, I had none of these things. And I had a piece of land, and that was it. And so we looked at how do we generate money from what we have. And that's what I was talking about. In the past, I've had even less and had to figure out how am I going to make a living. And so I'll give you a good example. When I was 20, I knew how to work in a steel plant, in a steel fabrication business. I knew how to weld, I knew how to read drawings, I knew how to make templates, and how to use a torch, and how to work. I knew how to find a job, I knew how to do a resume, and I had some ability to actually find work, but I didn't have a lot of experience. I had a skill, and at the beginning, I would say better than average at the skill. And then I had the ambition, but I didn't have a lot of experience. I had about 5 years. And so I was able to go just about anywhere in the States and find a job, a medium sized town, and find a job, make a living, take care of myself. That's when I was 20. When I was 40, I had really vast experience and I had marketable skills. And I was probably at the height of my economic earning potential and could go anywhere and could do anything. And now I'm 60 and I've got a tremendous amount of skills. I've got a vast amount of experience, but I'm 60. And so my ability to find work at all these different stages changed. When I was 20, I could get a job. It would be a job. When I was 40, I had a career. And now that I'm 60, I've got skills, I've got ability, but I'm not as marketable as I used to be. And so the things that need to be done as far as making a living are different in all three of these stages. But even now, I make a list of everything I have. I make a list of everything I know how to do, and then I make a list of what I want to do, and I combine those three. And it's not always easy to see when you've got this huge cloud over you. How are you going to make a living? What am I going to do? And sometimes the marketable skill is not what we thought. I've been able to do very well with some unusual ideas that kind of fell over in my lap. Um, there's things that I'm interested in that go towards what I know how to do. I'm interested in history. I studied philosophy, studied history, studied religion, studied ministry, studied counseling, and I also know a lot about organic farming. I know about animals. I can train animals. I can do some different stuff. I know a lot about Indians. I know a lot about archery. I know a lot about black powder weapons. I know how to hunt. I know how to fish. And so at different times in my life, I've used those unusual hobbies as a way to actually make a living. As a fishing guide, I had a reenactment of the Lewis and Clark expedition at a Hyatt Regency in Scottsdale, Arizona, and was paid very well to do that. And so there's different unusual things that I know how to do that you wouldn't think, oh, yeah, there's a job here. No, it was just a set of circumstances that I sought out, but I recognized an opportunity when I saw it. This Mexican food, I mean, who comes to Ukraine to start selling Mexican food? Nobody that I know. But it was, number one, a necessity. But number two, I had the resources, I had the skills, and I recognized a market. And so it took a little while to put those things together, to figure out this is what I can do, this is what I want to do, and this is what we're going to do. And this works. Um, so I would suggest the first thing when you're not sure what you want to do and how you're going to do it is to sit down, make a list. Then we can go through the list of pros and cons for doing this particular thing. I could go back in the steel business. I could probably find a way to make a living in the steel business in Ukraine with poor language skills. But that's not necessarily what I want to do. I'm good at it. It's okay, but it's a job. What I want to do is help people. That's my profession. I help people. How that looks and how we go about it and what we do to market that skill. There's a lot of variables with that. There's no money in helping people. The money comes from um, other ways. The people that I help don't have any money. And so I need to find ways to help people in a different way, like Mexican food, in order to be able to help people with addiction problems and problems related to addiction, not necessarily suffering from substance abuse themselves, but victims of dysfunction in their lives for whatever reason. And, there's a lot of people that are in an economic situation, veterans, people in these small villages, that their ability to earn a living out here is pretty limited. And so for people like that, I have a different way of looking at things, a different set of eyes that, maybe we can do this and maybe we can do that, and maybe this would work. Um, and it just brings a little bit of clarity to people when they have somebody else with a different set of experiences and, not any better at figuring things out, but just a different set of experiences and a different set of eyes. And I bring that to the table, and we sit down and we come up with solutions for problems. All right, that's the beginning of what I wanted to talk about with entrepreneurial, not just farming, but entrepreneurship. When I was 20, I needed to work for somebody. When I was 40, I was at a point where I could either work for somebody else or have my own business. And now that I'm 60, I need to have my own business. I need to come up with a way to figure out how to make a living independent of an employer. And that's what I've done. I used what I've got. I looked at what I have, and I looked at what I know how to do. And the combination of those three things has allowed me to make a living. Anyway, if you have any questions about this, if you like what you're hearing, the content, make a comment, subscribe to my channel if you can, share this with your friends, and have a blessed day.